This is my third fact-finding tour in Tennessee to find out the level of preparedness of our hospitals and our public health services and our emergency workers for Ebola. And Senator Corker and I are in the senior positions on the Health and Foreign Relations Committee, and when we go back in the Senate in a week, we want to be prepared to do whatever we need to do to deal with this epidemic in Africa. It's dangerous to us. First, because an infected person could come here. We've seen that. But more importantly, if it devastates countries in Africa, it creates havens for terrorists, and that's dangerous to us as well. It could be the most serious epidemic in modern times, and it's going to take an extraordinary effort by the United States and other countries to control it. I'm reassured about what I've found in Tennessee, in Memphis and Nashville and in Knoxville, about the preparedness of our hospitals and healthcare workers. We have an extraordinarily able public health system. I'm still alarmed by what's going on in Africa and want to do whatever I can to make certain that we control this epidemic so it doesn't spread there and it doesn't spread here.
Well, as you can imagine, I'm always thrilled to be with Lamar, who's an outstanding senator and, interestingly, the lead person on our side of the aisle for these kinds of issues. I, too, have been involved in fact-finding trips and was in Nashville a couple of weeks ago, meeting with Vanderbilt, HCA, but also with state health officials, and will say I was impressed by all of the organizations relative to how they're responding to this. It's interesting that the two of us are here with Lamar in his role. Also, the Foreign Relations Committee, when we get back, will be dealing with this issue because the best way for us to deal with the issue of Ebola is to deal with it in Western Africa. And so I talked to Raj Shah, the head of USAID, the day he returned from Western Africa. There's no question that additional funding will be necessary to deal with the effort there. I think all Tennesseans and Americans do want it dealt with in Western Africa. So the best way for us to do that is to really ramp up our efforts there. I'm sure both of us have talked to Dr. Frieden at CDC, and while the responses have been certainly awkward and sort of missed the point in the beginning, it's my hope that CDC will continue to up its efforts and make sure that we have a uniform effort across our country. There's no question that it has to be comprehensive. I know Lamar, our great senior senator, has been pushing for that since day one. And to be here today in Chattanooga with some outstanding health officials and to learn more about what's happening here in Memorial Hospital and in our community is certainly another great opportunity. So with that, I'll stop and take questions.
Senator, before you walk off, where does the czar fit into all of what's going on here?
I personally don't particularly think the czar probably fits in much at all. It was probably a political response to a situation where people were concerned. And I have not talked to the czar. In lieu of that, I've talked directly to the people, as I'm sure Lamar has, directly to the people that are actually involved in carrying out these activities. So that's been a better way for me. I'm not, I just always feel like it's best to deal with the professionals who are actually handling the situation, and that's the route I've chosen to go.
Could I comment on that just for a moment? I'd recommended a couple of weeks ago to the president, I'd urged him actually to appoint a cabinet level official to coordinate all the efforts here and what we do with other countries. But I had in mind a 4-star general or a distinguished public health official. I had in mind maybe General Colin Powell or Dr. Bill Frisk, who would be designated as a cabinet member, given the authority, report directly to the president and to Congress. And if we had someone like that every morning, that Americans could wake up to, who were telling us what the level of concern should be, I think we would have more confidence in the government's response. The president missed a real opportunity when he appointed a political staff member and has him appoint an assistant on the White House staff, and that so-called czar has yet to be seen or yet to be heard. So it's a missed opportunity for leadership, and I was very disappointed by it.
And if I could just add on to that, I mean, my natural style, and I know Lamar knows this, is to always just call the people directly involved in carrying out these activities. And that's just a much better way of understanding what the U.S. response is. I think we all know that in addition to what's happening here in our state at the local facility, 101st, located at Fort Campbell, is very involved in doing things on the ground in Western Africa. And the reason for that is the U.S. military, as Lamar just alluded to, is that highly competent entity that we rely upon for so many activities. And again, Tennesseans are very directly involved in what's happening in Western Africa to ensure that it doesn't come to the rest of the country here.